dark, twisted forest across the field. This place is really fucked up. You hurl the zinger into the mass of twisting vines. They snatch it out of the air and carry it off to the nearest spire. Predictably, lightning strikes the spire, but instead of destroying the Sartan artifact, the energy is totally absorbed by the zinger. It charges itself with the power of lightning. Sweet baby Jesus. Let's cast some more magic here. Let's cast Cold on the chokevines. We'll give them something to choke on. The cold spell floats over the sea of twisting vines. It expands and drops over the field like a blanket. As it does, you see frost form. The vines begin to move more and more slowly until they are torpid, completely still. Back over the field of choke vines you've recently crossed, you see the last gate of the labyrinth. Once a very welcome sight. You stumble out of the brush, only to come face to face with 3 wounded tiger creatures. Unfortunately, what you know the labyrinth tells you that only one thing more dangerous than a tiger creature is a wounded one. They stare at you in surprise, then let out a growl and tense to leap. You don't have time to do much but run. The tiger creatures fall on you in a fury of teeth and claws. At that moment, everything in the world is sharp and covered with blood. You discover that without an effective plan, a lone patron simply cannot defend against these monsters. And you fucking die. Shit. That's not good. Luckily, you can undo your last action. The tiger creatures hesitate when they come to the field, but after observing your safe crossing, they charge in after you. When you pause to look back, they're already about halfway across. Now they see you, they start sprinting. You don't think you can run any further without them overtaking you. Oh my goodness, here comes Tony the tiger. Alright, let's heat these bad boys back up. The frost disappears as the heat spell takes hold. At first the plants move sluggishly, but as the torpidity subsides, they resume their normal activity. The tiger creatures are caught in the middle of the field when the vines reawaken. The plants wrap around their struggling prey and drag them off to separate spires. With wild eyes, the tiger creatures watch lightning strike a spire only a few hundred yards to the west. It then strikes the next closest spire and proceeds to work its way down the line. Soon the lightning blasts the 2 closest spires. The stench of cooking tiger meat reaches you, even here. Yeah, I got some cooked tiger. Alright. Gotta freeze these bad boys back up. And we're gonna take our zinger back. You high-step through the tangle of choke vines, recover the zinger from the spire, and return it to your vantage point. You take the bone. You slide one of the skulls off the pole. You slip the tiger creature's skull over the central prong of the electric zinger. You slip the robe over the electric zinger. You stand on the outskirts of a village in the throes of battle. A pack of tiger men circle a group of patrons huddled under the magic shield. switch attached to the electric zinger. The contraption flies out of your hands, twisting and turning in the air, accompanied by a screeching metallic whine. The black robe flops back and forth, and lightning flies from the eyes of the mounted skull. All of the combatants stare up at the apparition. The tiger creatures point and hiss at the flying slideshow, and then they scatter in random directions, pure terror in their eyes. When the zinger's power drains, it drops out of sight somewhere in the forest. The shield around the huddled villagers finally falls. Methodically, they begin to scatter to the village, locating and tending to the wounded. One man, seriously injured, lies in front of you. The headman of the village, who violently supported the magic shield for so long, approaches the wounded man and summons a healer. A nervous young-looking woman rushes over, nearly dropping her package of healing herbs and implements. She surveys the horrible wound sustained by the fallen patron and gasps, but a stern look from the headman prods her into your routine. She tries to clean and dress the wounds, but they are too severe. You can tell she's inexperienced, and that this case is too much for her. I believe we have a salve I've been waiting to use. Because of the severity of the man's wounds, you end up emptying the crock of healing salve over his chest. You can see gashes closing up in space of a few heartbeats. The healer gasps, but the headman nods. He looks at you with newfound respect. The healer is shocked, but she doesn't let this amazing development slow her down. Quickly, she packs away all her tools and moves on to help other injured villagers. In her haste, she drops a cord, presumably used to stitch wounds. The headman stays on to direct the healthy patrons, packing up the village. It appears that he plans to quit this site soon. You tie the end of the elastic tendon to the arched bone. The result is a serviceable bow, however primitive.
You healed me, brought me back from the brink of death. I am indebted to you.
It was nothing.
It was everything. I'm in your debt. I don't like being in someone's debt. Tell me how I can repay you.
I hear you're a pretty good tracker.
I know the labyrinth. I know its signs. I can sense how it changes, sometimes even how it will change. If I find the start of a trail, I will never lose my way.
Do you think you could help me?
Of course. I'm in your debt. Tell me what I must do to absolve myself of it.
I'm on the trail of Lord Czar and his companion, who happens to be a shape-shifting dragon. Do you think you can find them?
Of course. That's what I do. I will accompany you while I track them. When I'm certain that we've found them, my obligation to you is resolved. I must return to my village.
Traveling at a pace you have trouble matching, and discovering small clues you would never have found, the track will lead you through the dark wood. Eventually you come upon a huge cave. A monster which resembles a huge insect, though much more formidable, stands guard outside.
The trail leads here into that cave. I've seen this cave before. There is no exit. Your quarry lies inside. The creature guarding the entrance is a Cheodan. I've only encountered their like once or twice before, and I can tell you this. If you spill its blood, every drop will grow into a duplicate of the monster. Only by killing it before it bleeds, usually with a precise thrust through its heart, can you keep it from regenerating. A sloppy attack, and you'll have an army of these things to contend with. Usually the best way to deal with this type of beast is to avoid it. I don't think you've got that luxury, though. If you're going into that cave, you'll have to go through the Cheodan. My obligation to you is over. I've led you to the end of the trail. The people of my village need my help, so I must return. Good luck.
The tracker bolts into the wood. Between one moment and the next, you've lost all trace of him. You're now alone, save for the delightful company of the Cheodan, of course. Looks like a big fucking praying mantis. A mountain rises from the forest here. A cave leads into it. Just outside, a terrifying monster stands guard.
Hello, little monster. Hello. Tickle your little belly. Tickle your little belly. Yes.
Well, we got a bow and arrow. With amazing accuracy, far more than you would have expected from such a primitive bow, you loose the arrow at the monster. The arrow penetrates straight through its heart, and the beast falls dead before a drop of its blood can fall. Unfortunately, the arrow has buried itself deeply into the creature. It cannot be received. Retrieved. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so we've killed the giant praying mantis. That was kind of easy. It's going to be time to drink from our bottle. And into the cave. Stalagmites and stalactites with knife-sharp edges stifle the cave. In the midst of them, Sangrax waits patiently for you. You press on the stone, and it collapses in the palm of your hand like a wad of paper. The green glow explodes around you, blinding you. When the spinning colors fade, you see that somehow the stone has summoned Zifnab, mounted atop his dragon. You are so stunned by the sight that you drop the bottle you carry to the cave floor where it shatters. Sangrax hisses with anger and disbelief. His fury takes control, and lightning quick he lashes out at the pair. He tries to bury his fangs into the neck of the new dragon, to inject his deadly venom into the body. But Zifnab's dragon is too fast. He rakes a claw across Sangrax's face, and forces him back into the cave wall. The impact shakes the cave and stuns Sangrax. The good dragon takes the opportunity to place Zifnab out of harm's way, but Sangrax springs up and pounces while the other dragon's back is turned. His claws rip through the thin membrane covering the good dragon's wings. When the good dragon finally forces Sangrax away, he is left with strips of loose flesh hanging from his bones that once supported his glorious wings. He retreats from Sangrax, dragging his wing and leaving a trail of blood behind him. Sangrax laughs and positions himself for the death blow. Sangrax leaps, but Zifnab's dragon dies beneath the attack, less wounded than he appeared to be. He sinks his teeth into Sangrax's exposed underbelly and tears a sizable chunk of flesh from his chesticle. Sangrax screams and races away from the fight, toward the back of the cave. He sinks into the darkness until all you see are two red, glowing eyeballs.
You haven't beaten me. When I've led Zar to the vortex, he'll reform the world and this place will be no more. I don't think you'll survive. But if somehow you do, we'll meet again, and then I'll have my revenge.
The red eyes wink out and Sangrax is gone.
And I was just getting into the shower. You call it the most inopportune times, Haplo. You've a knack for getting into trouble, my boy, and this is a doozy. My. Face to face with the embodiment of evil. You've had a full day. And look what happened to my dragon. I'm afraid this is going to have to come out of your security deposit.
That's all the rock did? Summon you here?
What did you expect it to do? Wasn't that enough? I think that I did a mite better than you would have in this fight. Well, I did have a little help. Nonetheless, we saved your bacon, and I think we deserve a little gratitude.
My thanks, Zifnab. I appreciate your help.
Of course you do. It's always nice to have the side of good rescue you from certain death. Every time it happens to me, I get goosebumps. There's nothing better, I tell you, except maybe a really good pastrami sandwich with extra mayo.
Where did the evil dragon go?
He slipped out the portal. You see, thousands of years ago, Sama hid the magic portal to the vortex in the labyrinth, here in this cave to be exact. He figured that it would be the safest place to do so. No one would come back into the labyrinth to find it. The portal leads directly to the outskirts of the vortex. We must assume that Sangrax has already escorted Zar there. In fact, they'll probably go directly to the floating island. Very soon, Zar will begin the reformation, unless we stop him.
Is your dragon all right?
He doesn't look good. Sangrax did quite a job on his wings. He got his comeuppance, though. Did you see those wounds on his face and chest? Those will smart for a few hundred years, mark my words. He won't even be able to change form to heal them. When you get wounds like that, they stay for dinner.
What do we do now?
Well, that's simple. We go after him. We have to stop him before he leads Zar to the center of the vortex. They have all of the seal pieces which you were so kind as to supply, so nothing stands in the way of the reformation. Whenever you're ready, I'll take us through the portal to the vortex.
Alright, I'm ready to go. Take us through, Zifnab.
Very well. Climb up on my dragon and I'll take us all through. My dragon is wounded, Mr. Insensitive. Why don't you get rid of some of that heavy junk that you've been toting around? It'll make the trip that much easier for him.
With a shrug, you go through your belongings and toss aside everything that appears useless. After you're done, Zifnab doesn't say anything more about it, so you guess that you've offloaded enough. You and Zifnab mount the wounded dragon. Zifnab traces a complex spell which grows to a glowing hoop in space, large enough even to accommodate the dragon. Painfully, the dragon steps through, and a thundercap later, you arrive at the edge of the vortex. Looks freaking scary, yo. This is the end-game content. Zifnab and his cool dragon. You're on one of the magic paths. A stone arch looms ahead. Beyond it stands someone who looks exactly like you. I hope this works. Remember, this part's kind of tricky with the spell casting. We have to reverse the self-immolation spell here. So if you take self-immolation and you reverse this and do it in the other order, it should do a mirror image, basically, of the spell. If you try to cast it like this, I don't think it'll work. You cast the nonsense spell into the air. Of course, the spell does nothing, but your double casts the spell's mirror image. This does happen to be a real spell. In fact, the spell that he cast is self-immolation. It dives into his body and burns it to ashes. His clothes and possessions fall to the ground. See ya, bitch. You search through the double's remains and discover duplicates of everything that you carry. Alrighty then. Guess we have duplicates. We can actually make a... You knock out the connecting bolt from one of the blades and slap them together. The result is a complete set of garden shears. Woohoo! Grayish green, slimy tentacles snake out from somewhere below the path. They twitch and reach out for you. You take a swipe at one of the swaying tentacles but miss it completely. The tentacle whips out from under your path, wraps around your leg and tugs at it. You feel you might be able to pull away, but if you move forward, you'll enter a whole nest of them. With a quick snip, you cut the tentacle away. The core-covered stump draws back under the path along with the remainder of tentacles. The creature has evidently had enough. The floating island is suspended over the center of the vortex. A circular platform in the center has 4 spires along its perimeter. You come upon Lord Zar standing in the center of the island. He holds all the sealed pieces in his hands and is closely examining the focus. Off to one side, you see Sangrax in your form, watching patiently. On your arrival, Zar's head snaps up and he regards you in a shock and surprise.
What are you? Some kind of phantasm born of the vortex? I can feel the wild magic around us. Are you part of that?
I am no phantasm. I am the true Haplo. Your companion is a dragon who has taken my form to trick you into destroying the world. He has tried his best to keep me from following you here, but here I am. You must stop what you are doing, my lord. The Reformation will not be what you expect. Many will die, including our own race. My lord, it's obvious that this is some trick, some manifestation of the Vortex's wild magic. Why it spouts lies to stop you from claiming your rightful heritage, I don't know. But don't spare it a thought. Continue with the ritual, and I will deal with my double.
Sangrax's eyes flash red as he turns to you with a grin that shows razor-sharp teeth. The scar left by Zifnab's dragon on his face only makes him more menacing.
What you say makes sense, my son, but something about this doesn't ring true. Can you prove your words? Are you the real Haplo? Or is this, as my companion claims, just a hollow trick?
It's no trick. I can prove I'm Haplo. Remember our conversation about heart runes? They name us. They give us our magic. They are the center of our beings. If they are torn or broken, we fall ill. We cannot function. I show you mine, unbroken. I challenge my double to do the same.
You rip open your shirt and reveal your heart rune.
Of course I can show you my heart rune, and why not? After I've done so, I'll eliminate this annoyance so that you can complete the Reformation undisturbed, Lord Zar. I live only to serve you.
The wound taken from Zifnab's dragon slashes across his chest, straight through his heart rune. Not only is the rune broken, but much of it is missing.
So much for subterfuge. I prefer to be direct anyway. My lord, you will complete the Reformation. If you do not, I will kill you. It's your choice.
Very well, dragon. I will continue the Reformation, but only because it suits my purposes as well.
Excellent. Get on with it then.
Zar takes a moment to ponder his options, then carries the fire seal piece to the spire counterpart. Quickly, he slides the piece into the monolith's face. That very second, the entire island outside of the protective circle where you stand erupts in flame. A storm of fire swirls and patches the ground. Sangrax, caught in the sudden maelstrom, screams in agony. You quickly lose sight of him behind the curtain of flame.
That should take care of our friend, eh? Tell me what's happening here, Haplo. Quickly, if you don't mind. It seems that I have been misinformed. The Reformation is not what I wished it to be. I must change my plans. We will bring about the interconnection. The worlds cannot survive without it. But the Sartan's strength is severely depleted. It is as nothing compared to ours. After we have connected the realms, we shall invade them, wipe them clean of the Sartan influence, and take our rightful place as rulers. Attend me, my son. I've placed the focus over the starting rune of the Reformation. While you gather the remaining seal pieces, I have to move it back to the interconnection starting rune. I'm lucky that my research indicated which rune this was. Otherwise, I might not know how to bring it about.
Zar squats over the focus, scans the surface of the floor, and prepares to move the floating frame to another room. Suddenly, Sangrax's head bursts through the curtain of flame. He is reverted to his original form, that of a fire-breathing dragon, a form completely impervious to the effects of the storm swirling around him. He looses a tongue of fire at Zar's chest. The blast leaves nothing but a blackened hole, and Zar slumps to the ground, dead.
Now it's your turn, patron. Unless you decide to be more cooperative than your master.
Good time to save your game. Sangrax watches you approach the spire. Familiar now with the end result, he decides to stop you. The dragon rears back and prepares to blast you with a torrent of fire. You leap forward and press the seal piece into the indentation. It crackles and affixes itself to the spire. The firestorm surrounding the protective circle is replaced by a deluge of water. The dragon chokes back his attack with a comic gurgle and disappears behind sheets of rain. Sangrax, in the form of a giant gelatinous worm, crawls effortlessly through the sheets of water. Despite its slow speed, it will be on you in moments. You press the seal piece into the earth spire. It crackles and affixes itself inside the indentation. The water stops falling, changes into rocks and boulders. They smash into the worm and stop it in its tracks. Soon you lose sight of it behind the curtain of falling earth and rocks. The rocks and boulders fall straight through Sangrax's vaporous form. Slowly, ominously, he floats towards you. You set the seal piece inside the air spire's indentation. It crackles and affixes itself there. The rocks stop falling, but gale winds rage around the protective circle. It feels as if you're standing in the eye of a tornado. The ghost dragon is caught in the wind. The wind scatters his smoky form until it vanishes. Somewhere deep in the winds, you see a shadow rising from the ground, growing larger and larger. You recognize the silhouette even from here. It's Sangrax's original form, that of the fire-breathing dragon. You are left without any elemental storms to hurl against him. You slam the nexus piece into the focus. A column of red fire pours down into the rune-paved ground. The fire almost immediately washes away. Apparently it was not a valid starting rune for the spell. Oh shit, the dragon's back. That's kind of too far back. Alright, let's try this again. You basically have one move in between each stone that you put. This time we're going to try to resurrect Zar. We need to learn where to put the Nexus. You cast the intricate spell over the still warm corpse of your lord. You sense a rushing air and suddenly you see Zar's spirit pulled into his body like water down a drain. His eyelids flutter open and he stares directly at you. Although he appears to be aware, there is no life in his eyes and his face is without expression. Somewhere in the driving rain, you hear the pop and sizzle of Sangrax's fire being doused, but you also hear a squishing, sloshing sound that usually accompanies one of the shape changes.
The heart, the heart, the heart.
Zar keeps repeating the same phrase over and over. Maybe it has something to do with the huge hole in this chest. You see Sangrax now, and he's in his gelatinous form. Okay, let's read the history book here. I think we're looking for the heart room, I guess.
The heart, the heart, the heart. So, patron, are we done playing this game?
Fuck, I don't know. Okay, so I think I might have figured this out here. After a little bit of research. Basically, when you resurrect Czar and he says the heart, Czar gave names for the, quote, devils of the High Council members in the beginning. Orsef was who he called the heart. And if you look in the history book, I believe this is the symbol for Orsef. It might change from game to game, not sure. Fucking pain in my dickhead. Alright, so let's try this again here.
The heart, the heart.
And you want to open up your history of the Sundering and look up Orphus, Orsef, whatever his name is. I think the actual symbol for Orsef might change, but I think it's always Orsef that you're looking up here. And it should be the little hook upper left. So let's try that out. And that's it.
You're all out of seal pieces, patron.
Oh, I got one more. Fuck nugget.
I've got one more, dragon.
Swear to God, I haven't seen this. Into the vortex he goes.
When you drop the Nexus seal piece into the focus and ignite the interconnection spell, magic flows through the ruins of the island and connects the elemental spires. Sangrax, unwisely attempting to break through the magic field in order to stop you, confronts the brunt of its power. It proves to be too much, even for the incarnation of evil, and the explosion hurls him into the swirling vortex, hopefully never to be seen again. You've connected the 5 realms. Perhaps now the worlds can function as planned, and their inhabitants can not only survive, but flourish. Yet you ponder one particular unrealized goal of your Lord, namely the release of your people from the labyrinth. With time, and the aid of the Sartan, you may be able to see this dream fulfilled, but that must wait for another day. You've completed Deathgate. You've saved the realms from a fate worse than death. And while doing all of this, you scored 1,500 out of 1,500 points. Congratulations.
Alright folks, it's another Game Hoarder production coming to a close here. I'm gonna go wash my hands, grab some food, and come back and kick some Ultima 6 in the dingle doof. Thanks for watching. Let them credits roll, son!